Stampylongnose here, and welcome to another top 10 video. In this video I'm going to be going through my top 10 builds in my fun land. If you didn't check out my last video, I just did the top 10 in my city world, so go and check that out. So in this episode I'm going to do the top 10 for my fun land. And as I said, compared to my city world, there is a lot more in this world to like and enjoy, so it was really hard for me to pick my top to only pick 10 of them. But I've flown around having a look at them all and I have started rating. So we're going to start with number 10. And number 10 is my mini game called, what do I call this? What's That Thing? This was basically one of my random builds. I just thought I'd build it for just because I wanted something different compared to most sort of mini games. This is basically a game show sort of thing where the host or whoever's asking the question will stand here, they'll look through the items and pick a random block and describe it. Or they'll pick something at random, so it could be anything. So it could be something to do with Minecraft, it could be something to do with another game, it could be something to do with their favourite TV programme. You never know. The reason this is number 10 is we tested it out and it was really confusing to sort of play. Sorry guys, my friend's sort of tidying up at the moment, so that's why you can hear the Hoover going. But again, this was number 10 due to the fact that, as I said, it was really confusing when we first played it. We didn't really understand, obviously it was me asking questions and I found it really hard to sort of describe a block. So that's why it didn't really work. So I was thinking we'd change it to something different, but we haven't decided on something different yet, so it's remained as this for now. I have to apologise, I have a couple of gnat bites that are really irritating. So that's why that's number 10. Again, it was a really cool build when an idea when I first had it, but unfortunately it just didn't work the way we intended to. So that's why that was number 10. So moving on to the number 9 build is actually not a mini game, but it's sort of like a mini ride. Now, any theme park you've been to, you'll know there's like a little sort of slide where so you climb to the top of the stairs, get in like your potato sack, and sort of slide down. Sometimes it's like shaped like a lighthouse, sometimes it's one of these sort of chute type ones. Sometimes it's even something like this where it's sort of multiple rows and you just slide down like a race type one. You might have seen it in played Zombie the Space and that type of slide. So that's what this is. And this is number 9 because although it was really although it's a really cool build, it took quite a while to build. It's very simple. It's just literally you climb to the top of the stairs, get in your minecart. I wonder if you can do it with. Bear with me. Just want to test this. Yeah, you can even do it with the boat, but the minecart's better. But essentially, the way it works is you just get in the minecart and slide down. So that's why it's very simple, very plain, and that's why it's quite high, sort of low on the list at number 9. So number 8 is all the way over here. Where is it? There it is. Nope, that's not it. No, there we go. Number 8 was my temple jewels, and this was a sort of battle mini game. The reason this is quite high on the list is it was very big and did take quite a while to build. But unfortunately, we tried testing it out loads of times. And unfortunately you have to keep changing the redstone a certain way just for it to actually work. But every time you do, the sort of zombies or whatever it mob is in here gets stuck on this sort of block here and dies before they even spawn. So I did originally change that so that the redstone worked, but somehow as I've come back into the game, everything that I did before sort of was lost. So I've just got to redo that, but I'll be redoing that at another time. So that's why this is number 7. 8, sorry, number 8. Number 7 build is actually my Minecon, and this took me. I did this by myself. I was starting to do a video on it where I started doing like the walls and the roof, but unfortunately, with a bit of help, I finished that off camera and didn't get to show the whole building process. But this took me quite a while. As you see, we've got like the stage here with a few like computers. Then you got like the seats. Then you got like a couple of merchandise stores with sort of YouTubers such as iballisticsquid, Stampy, Dan TDM, sort of Cy Cooper, and myself. Then obviously back here you've got a lot of toilets, and then you got like a YouTuber's meet and greet. And this is number 7 on the list, because although it's a really cool build and there's a lot of detail went into it, so especially with the sign and the inside, there isn't really much in terms of much use with it. Obviously we have a look in there, but obviously without being many people on, it's really hard to actually get a use out of it. So it's more just there for sort of like visual effects, and that's why it's number 7 on the list. Moving on to number 6 is my all the way over here, and it's my high-speed roller coaster. This is quite close to the middle because it's a really cool and simple roller coaster, but it took quite a while to build, especially filling in all the walls and all like making sure that all the pattern linked up properly. It's still quite high on the list. It's not any of the top 5, just due to the fact that all it does is essentially go up and around and back down. So it's a very sort of plain and boring ride, but it's got a lot of sort of potential as a ride, if that makes sense. So yeah, essentially that's all it really does. So you come on, get a minecart, and you go around and get off and come back off. That's why it's still sort of not in the top 5, but it's still on the list, because although it's quite a boring ride, it's very enjoyable, and people have been on it and have actually enjoyed it. So moving on, we're now into the top 5, and we're going to kick off number 5 with, when I can find it, my number 5 personal favourite build is, well, it's actually 2. We're going to start with this one first, and it's actually my Moles Motel and my Animal Kingdom ride, or more like a walking tour. So basically the way they work is they're like a walking one, and for some weird reason everything's gone. Let's see, most of them, no, they're still there. Well, essentially this happened last time I tried doing recording. As soon as I did a recording, every single mob just disappeared. So I don't know whether it's because it's too light, or whether it's just because the mob was a camera shy, but essentially the way this works is there's a lot of mobs being spawned in there, and you just, there you go, they're starting to spawn in. There you go, see, another creeper, and they're all starting to spawn in. Now it makes, there you go. So basically the way you walk in that end, and you just basically walk over the top, whilst looking down at the mobs in their sort of basically in their natural habitat, if that makes sense. So sort of like this is the sort of place where you get to view the mobs that you get to find in Minecraft. And again, number 5 is that one, and this Animal Kingdom as well. And they're basically the same sort of thing. You basically walk in, get to look at all that. In one you get to look at the mobs, and the other one you get to look at all the animals in the game. Obviously there's been a lot more added, so this is a bit out of date, but essentially it's still really cool. And it's in the middle just because although it's a very simple sort of attraction, it's quite fun to sort of look at all the different sort of mobs and how you get to sort of breed them and sort of thing like that. So it's quite a cool one. It's quite interactive as well, because essentially we have sort of, as you see over here, we have like a pigs race, and obviously the backstory is the pigs have been training in the sort of Animal Kingdom to sort of be racing pigs sort of thing. So people go and check that out to sort of look at the pigs and sort of training sort of thing. And that's how this minigame came about. Sort of this pigs, what did I call it? Piggy's Podium or something like that? Ah, here it is. Yeah, Piggy's Podium. That's how this minigame came about. So they're number 5. Number 4 on the list is again another 2 builds, and that's because they're very simple, but you get a lot of fun out of them. So the first one is a sort of tug of war game, basically trying to get the minecart to your side before the opponents do. And the next one is a King of the Ladder. So basically you just climb to the top and then sort of battle your way to be the last person standing on top. And then number 5, just because although they're very, very plain and simple, a lot of thought went into them, because originally this was all slime. We tried it with slime on survival. Every time we failed, we kept dying. So we tried taking out layer by layer or adding more layers. We kept dying. So we took them out and ended up adding water instead, and finally that worked. Again with this one, we tried doing it with sort of without the minecart tracks, but essentially the minecart will get stuck here. Then you'd put this person over here would pull it, but it would actually go back towards that boat. So we ended up having to add the power rush just to give it. If it got stuck, say it got stuck here, and you pulled it your way. So essentially the way it was is it would come around here, and if it gets stuck here and you pull it from that side, you pull it, and essentially you pull it back. If you weren't lucky, you pulled it the other way. So if it got stuck here and you pulled it a certain way, it will go back on itself. So we had to change that a lot. So that's why they're both number 4 on the list. Number 3 on the list goes to my little building competition game, which is over here. And the way this works is basically 2 teams of however many players there are in the game. There's always 1 judge. So essentially if there's 5 players, 2 people there, 2 people there. Basically one team captain will come up here, press the button and receive a random block. It will give them a sort of theme. That's what they have to build. Again, the next captain will come over again. They pick their block, they get a different theme. They have to build on your side. Then the judge will look at both and say, this team wins or this team wins. So this was actually a very simple concept game. It's quite helpful in this because every sort of video I've done in this one, we've had at least 1 or 2 people playing it, and it's been really fun and competitive. So it was very, very fun to build, and obviously I did do like sort of a couple of videos on it with, first of all, Wavy K, then Sly Cooper, Cammy and Pug. Unfortunately, Cammy and Pug have been fired from the team, so they're no longer able to join in, but that's fine. I think I'm going to be speaking to Sly and Creepy Truck Game and sort of planning a 3-person building one, rather than giving up that series, because I did enjoy doing it, and that series got a lot of feedback as well, so it's just good to see. So that's why this is high on the list, because essentially I did a channel on it, people really enjoyed it. We enjoy playing it on this world as well, so that's on number 3 on the list. Number 2 goes to the boat race here. And this was a very fun race because essentially it brought a lot of people, so it was quite laughter, because essentially it was quite funny to build, because when we tested it we didn't realise that the boats would essentially, if you got 2 boats in here at the same time, if I can find the boats, so if you're both coming in a boat like that, let's see if I can get it in there like that, and then bring this on there like that, essentially that would happen, and you'd have a lot of people trying to battle for each other to get through basically, and that brought a lot of sort of funny moments in videos where I've raced Sly at one point, I've raced Creepy Truck Game, and again that was really fun to build. Obviously there's a lot of detail went into it, not much detail went into the actual course. It was just basically sort of made into sort of random little shape with like the red and dark blue clay basically to build the track, and essentially not really many obstacles on it, but there was still quite a lot to make it quite fun to play. Then obviously you had the bridge here, and followed by like a little fountain, and all this, and you had like the stands here, and like the commentator's booth. So that's what made that really fun to build, and that's why it's so high on the list, because essentially, although that we haven't had much use out of it, it's quite funny to when we do use it, because there's a lot of competition with it. Essentially, you see people sort of raging if they get caught, or they end up getting taken over, and it's quite funny to watch. So that's why this is number 2. Now, before we get into the number 1 build, again, just like my city build, we're going to do some honourable mentions. And these are basically some of the rides and mini games that didn't quite make the list due to whatever reason. Now, kicking this off for honourable mentions is my roller coaster Miner's Dream. And this didn't quite make the list because although it's a very simple roller coaster, it is essentially all cobblestone, as you see. So essentially, you don't really know what the ride is until you actually get on it. What's cool about this one is, as you go around, you do receive sort of little gifts from the dispensers. So in one you'll receive either iron or gold, and then further on you'll receive diamonds. Again, this is just a simple little track. Basically, you get to see quite a lot of ores in the game, or in the ride. Then obviously, as I said, you get a diamond here. Then you just continue track, and this was called Miner's Dream because of the next part coming up. So as well as you'd come down further into the mine. Essentially, imagine you've come further down into the mine before you come back up. So basically, you've come down to the bottom of the mine, where diamonds spawn, and basically, as you're wandering around, every miner's dream would be to find a cave full of diamonds, and that's basically why this is called Miner's Dream, because this whole room is just completely filled with diamonds. Obviously, we can't really add it in too many places, just due to the fact that on the outside there is still the other side being shown, as you see there. So you'd have to sort of add more blocks here and there just to basically get it fully working. And that's why that's it. As I said, it didn't quite make the list just because of it's all sort of underground, so you don't really know what it is until you actually get on. The next honorable mention is Piggy Podium, and this is on the list because we've never actually played it. We have played it on when we did when me and Wavy K first started our channels together, or my channel together, when we were doing Crazy Creations. One of our themes was Sports Day, and I actually built this sort of mini game in it with just 2 pigs. And we played it quite a lot. Now, unfortunately, after I built it in that world and we tested it a few times, I built it again in this world, but we've never actually played it. We've looked at it and sort of seen how it works, but we've never actually played it in the world. Whether it's just because we haven't really had the time, or whether it's just because we've been too busy on Sly's world or Truck's world, or whatever it is. Like I said, it's on the list because it's a really cool mini game to do. Because you have, at the end, you have the fireworks, you have like the podium here, which makes it give that the sort of actual race and competition effect. But again, it didn't quite make the list just due to the fact that, again, we've never played it in the world, which is a shame because it was a really fun mini game to play. And when obviously we played it a lot on the Crazy Creations videos, but we never actually got to play in this world. So hopefully, when we come back into this world a lot more, there'll be a lot more people playing it and actually trying it. And obviously this one, Piggy Podium had like this little mini game. Obviously we didn't give it a name just because I wasn't meant to get rid of this. I just thought I'd build it for the fun of it. But essentially I decided to keep it because it's quite a fun little mini game. And basically the idea of it is to run up the stairs and sort of jump off through the castle of slime and land on the red dot. It's actually surprisingly easy. Essentially, you can do it from anywhere. Unless you do that, because there you go, you land on the blue if you mess up. But that, again, these two didn't quite make the list because, again, they've never really been played in the wild. There's a few more, two or three more that made the honorable mentions. One of them being the Spleef Tower here. Now, again, although we've played a couple games in it, but unfortunately, it didn't make the list just because it's a very simple game and everyone knows Spleef is in the world. Everyone who's played Spleef knows how to play it, knows how to build it, and it does essentially. It's just basically there for the fun of it. You don't really get to play it. Before we finish off the honorable mentions, the next one is the TNT run. Now, this took myself and I believe it was Creepy Truck Game quite a while to build. This was the first time I really met Truck, and this was the first build we did together. And honestly, it took us a long time just to build up all the bedrock walls, sort of filling all the TNT, putting all the pressure plates on. It did take us quite a while, so we decided to put it off camera. But again, although we built it, me and Truck have only really tested it off camera. We've never actually done a video on camera with it, so we don't really know how it reacts with more than 2 people. Didn't quite make the list. It was going to be on the list, but unfortunately, due to the fact that we haven't really shown it off in video, and we haven't really had many players to play it, it didn't make the list just because we don't really know how it works with load players. So the final thing on my memorable mentions is my hotel section. Now, as you can see, the idea of this section is just a load of statues basically designed like hotels. So that in the heads, as you see, you've got the windows there. Obviously there's nothing inside them at the moment. There's just going to be like a sort of hotel basically. And this was technically isn't a minigame or a ride, but I felt that this should make the list because this has taken me quite a while to build just by myself. All these statues I built by myself using videos or tutorials. So essentially they're all basically really cool builds, and obviously the reason they didn't make the list is, again, they're not really a minigame, they're not really a ride, they're just there for effect. And the reason they didn't make the reason I'm actually giving them mention is because, as I said, they haven't been used, but they are really cool in my world, and they do make it look a lot more better. So moving on now to our number 1 build. And the number 1 build, again, it was another build for Sly, Speak of the Devil, which just come online. And this is Sly Cooper's Hide and Seek. And this is the number 1 build because we've all played it, we've all loved it. It's been repeated, everyone has commented saying how much they enjoy the game. You know, we've had a lot of laughs, lots of jokes. And there's a lot of history into that. Obviously, this was the first thing I ever built for Sly. This was basically, Sly was going through a hard time at one point. His grandfather basically went to hospital, and I thought basically a way to sort of support him. Obviously, I didn't really know what to say, so I decided to build something for him, just as a sort of way of saying, hey, stay in there, basically. And basically, it was a way of sort of thanking him as well, because up until basically before I started my 4-way building competition, I was basically on my own doing videos, and it was very boring. And in the end I met Sly, and thanks to him my channel started. Now, as for a special video, I'm actually going to join his party, and just basically know he's in the video, who's in there as well.
The update.
No, I do not have the update apparently, because it's not showing anything.
Okay, guys, so as you hear, you have Sly and Creepy Truck Game in the party. So, guys, just to let you know, you are on a broadcast with me. Say hi to YouTube.
Hi. Hey, Tube.
So yeah, basically, this was my number 1 build for one reason. Obviously, I said that this was the first thing I built for Sly. Let's see if he knows what I mean. So yeah, this was the first thing I built for Sly, and again, we've had lots of fun with it. This was basically fun, very simple, very sort of. It took a lot of detail went into building it, but essentially, this is number 1 because again of how much fun there was. Yeah, as Creepy Truck Game, what the Dragon said, fun. But yeah, as I said, a lot of detail and time went into this because basically the front took quite a while to build, just as it was, as well as all the inside.
Oh no, Kami's here.
Oh, I thought I'd blocked him.
Wait, it's not coming up. Wait a minute.
Sam.
Wait a second. What is Cammy and Pug doing here?
I think it's Sam Kenzie, Cammy or Pug. Or Japan. One of them.
Yeah, guys, basically that's number 1 is basically this build, just because of how much fun went into it.
Hello.
Oh, I'll get back next time.
Hello. And look, we have the man himself. Hello, Sly. Welcome to the video.
Hi.
So yeah, this is my
Thank
number
you for
one
having
build.
me.
I basically did a top 10 video on my city world and this world. Basically, in my video, in my city world, I did top 10 builds that I enjoyed building. And in my fun world, I built a top 10 videos that of all my favourite builds. And surprisingly, in my city world, your mansion that I built was my number one build. And
Cool.
in my Funland, your minigame was my main number one favourite thing. So yeah, both your builds have been my favourite so far. Don't really know why. I think, as I said, in the city video, I said your mansion was basically because of how much detail went into it, how sort of professional it looks, considering when I first started it was just a house with 3 floors, and that was really it. Then you added like the pool and the porches and the garages and the whole lot. I made it really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I think what I'll do is I'll do like a separate video with some plan with if Truck joins us. I might do a quick little game of like hide and seek or something. I don't know. We'll sort something out. But for now, guys, thank you all for watching my top 10 video.
Slippery.
Go check out my city one. Basically see what my city's like and my top 10 builds there. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.